good morning, everyone, and happy to slay. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Wednesday. That's right. It's not a Tuesday, it is a Wednesday. Normally, my show is on Tuesdays, but today, y'all, I'm here because yesterday I was getting my hair redone and I knew that I wasn't able to be here at my regular time. So I chose to come on today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. And you know what time it is? It is Slay time. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals, especially women veterans, to step up into their most authentic personal brand to gain lucrative opportunities. And we are enhancing appearance, behaviors, communication, and digital presence, what I call the ABCDs. And so I am a professional keynote speaker, an image consultant, personal brand expert, and a United States Air Force veteran of 30 years. Now, I'm also an author, okay? And I know that I have been talking through a little bit on my social media post about the 3 books that I have written. The first one was about my experience in the United States Air Force and what the word slay means. And the other 2 books are about personal branding strategies that you can use. One is for women over 40, and the other one is for anyone when I go into organizations and present workshops and so forth and so on. So, what does slay mean? Anyone? Do I know? Right? We all know what's going on here. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym, stands for life and leadership philosophies that really resonate with me the most during my career. S, stay ready to be ready. L, lead out loud. A sense of community. And Y, you are built to last. So when you come in, okay, make sure that you put in your name, tell us where you're coming in from, and let us know, so we can give you a shout out. All right. I'm here to help us to empower ourselves, to elevate our mindsets, and to ignite success here on the Slay to Success Rise and Slay show. All right, so let's just get started in the conversation that I have for us today. And this stemmed from a post that I had a couple of days ago and talking about, catching up with our peers. So for decades, all right, some of us have been of service where we were in the military for a very long time, 20, 30 years. And while we were in military service, our peers were in business, those that were in business or in certain other areas where they were able to develop relationships, connections, and really grow their business or their brand. So, how do we do all this? How can we, all right, take this on and catch up? Well, I'm here to tell y'all we have secret weapons, okay? Because transitioning into the business world can feel like stepping into unfamiliar terrain. When I transitioned from the Air Force in 2021, I felt like I was dropped on a planet somewhere, on an island, and I didn't know anything about business. I started out on my journey just haphazardly, just kind of like fell into it. I knew that I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something that was bigger, bolder, a little bit more scarier, because I had already experienced that in the military. So I needed to make sure that I was, open to where this journey was going to go. But initially, I thought I was starting from scratch. Like everyone else was, in the throes of understanding and knowing business. And I really didn't. So starting from scratch, I had that mindset. And then I had to like think about it a little bit more and go, you know what? I'm not starting from scratch. I am starting from experience. All right. Because we are armed with a unique set of skills that most professionals only dream of. Think about it. Okay. Um, we have been on teams of teams, maybe perhaps in environments that we didn't know anything about. We've had leaders change over multiple times in a short span of time, and we had to find organizational success. We had a mission, and sometimes that mission changed over and over again, and still we were always up for the challenge. All right. So we have gone through a lot of other different set of circumstance than maybe perhaps our peers have gone through. Doesn't make us any better than anyone. It's just it's different. It was just totally different for us, right? And so how can we bring that, all right, and understand that we're bringing value? We have a lot to give. We have a lot that we can start from, and so I talk about building a personal brand to harness these strengths. And I'm going to give us some powerful tips so we can create a brand that really stands out and solves that starting from scratch feeling. Okay. So we're going to be talking about how we're going to catch up. Okay. Now, before we get into this conversation, I hope everybody is moving their bodies and doing something of activity. Just to share, because this is the Rise and Slay show, what workout I was doing prior to getting on this show was a 45-minute hike. And then I was incorporating weight training in between. Now, 45-minute hike is not at, like 5 or 6 incline. I'm talking about at 12.5. That is the highest incline that we have on our treadmill. I know some treadmills go up to 15, and you're hustling. All right. So I was able to get my workout in, lower impact with some weight training, and really get into my thoughts about, what I have been able to accomplish up to this point, and really celebrate the smallest of wins, because sometimes we can get down on ourselves and wonder why we're not at the points where everybody else is. Okay, so this again stemmed from a comment that my friend, my great friend Misty Cook, she put it on to the post. So go, if you're on LinkedIn, look at the past couple of posts, and you can see the comments where she said, we have been decades in service. And so sometimes we don't think about, what it really takes. We just think, oh, we're going to start a business and it's just going to start growing immediately. And that's just not the case. It can take years. All right. But what I'm going to share with you is about how to unlock this secret weapon that we've had for decades, and how we can use that if you are starting your entrepreneurial journey, or if you're going into the corporate world, or if you're deciding you want to be a community leader, maybe a political advocate, whatever the case may be, this can work, all right, as we are reinventing and reimaging and rebranding ourselves after service. So, we didn't spend decades, okay, y'all, serving our country to downplay the experiences now. Okay. We're not playing small. We're not shirking ourselves. All right. We're making sure that we understood that our military background is a badge of honor that signifies leadership, discipline, and resilience. When we're building our personal brand, we got to highlight those qualities proudly, okay, and openly. We are great leaders. We have immense discipline. We are undeniable resilient, all right, because of all the things that we had to go through. And so don't ever forget that. We need to frame our service as a story of growth and mastery that shape us into the strategic thinker and the problem solver, because we had to have all types of options. We had to come up with solutions right away in real time. Sometimes we had a plan and we were walking through the plan, but something else happens. And so we get into the, oh my goodness, what are we going to do now? And we used to just figure it out. So, someone who thrives under pressure like we've had and brings a unique perspective to the table, to any table, you're an asset. So your military experience, all right, we need to embrace it as an asset. This is going to help us to catch up in business. All right. This is the veteran's secret weapon. If you are starting out in a business and you're like, I don't even know, the first thing is the brand identity. Who and what do you want to be in this next? How do you want to show up? How do you want people to perceive you? All right. We are now in a point in our lives where we can start to do that. And that's what I have done. Okay. And I'm telling you, I get opportunities on top of opportunities on top of opportunities. Just today, again, I have lots of things to catch up on. So that way, tomorrow and Friday, I'm going right into a full schedule of opportunities. I have networking events, be on podcasts. I'm getting ready for some workshops that I'm going to deliver because these are the things that we can do. All right. If you've led a lot of people, and there's a lot of us that have, all right, you can lead yourself into being an entrepreneur. All right. So embrace your military experience as an asset. So let's develop our stories, focus on those transferable skills from our military career, like leadership and decision making. All right. And we got to use them as our pillars for our brand identity. So that is the first tip that I want to share with you. Okay. The second tip that I want to share with y'all is about networking. All right. I talk about networking a lot because I was not privy to networking when I was in service. I didn't know what it consisted of or what it could bring. I often thought of it as I'm going to just go in here and I'm going to have a couple of snacks, right? And then maybe a couple of drinks if it's at night. And then I'm just going to go home. But when I realized in business, networking, is something that we already have available to us when we retire or transition out of the military, because our network is our fellow veterans and our military communities. We already have that in play. Okay, so networking might not feel natural to us because we use the chain of command and we were taught to use the chain of command. But understand, we already have a strong network. All right. So we got to use the connections that we've already built and have those as our leverage, our what do you call it, advantage for us to build our business because we have relationships with individuals. I was able to get several opportunities to speak for my military community based on relationships that I had built while I was still in service. But I didn't really connect the dots until I realized people were reaching out to me. I'm like, I already got a network. All right. And building that here on the platforms. Okay. So our network, we're going to help us leap forward rather than feeling like we're catching up. Because the more that we engage with others and share our experiences, the more we'll realize how much value we're really bringing in. Okay, so again, leverage your network. And yes, you have one. Okay, don't think that you don't have people to reach out to, or you can't get answers, or you can't move forward because you don't have the connections just yet. My favorite phrase, hey, good morning, Leslie. How are you? Welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. Instead of being Tuesday as it normally is, it is on Wednesday because I had to get my hair done. And that was the only available appointment she had. So I was like, I will come back here on Wednesday and make sure that I show up. Okay. Because that's part of what we're talking about too. All right. So thank you so much for being here live with me this morning. And I hope you are feeling well. And so, again, if you're not sure where your community is, I just want you to think about this phrase, and this is what I say to myself all the time. Connect with the people that love you the most. Connect with the people that love you the most. The people that love me the most, as far as my entrepreneurial journey, is my veteran community, especially women veterans, because I've had built relationships and really, you know, leaned into how we can support one another and inviting them to opportunities where we can share. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Queen, Madame. And so that was the second tip. So the first tip is to embrace your military experience as an asset. And the second one is to leverage your network because you have one. So in your network, you join veteran groups, entrepreneurial groups. I go to many veteran entrepreneurial conferences, meetings, um, events because I know the language, I know the jargon, and I understand that there may be an opportunity for me to give back and pay forward through the business that I have created. I attend military transition networking events and active on LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn, y'all gonna see me every day. Okay, sometimes twice a day, because I know the power of being in that professional community on that platform. So we have to engage with people who understand the value that we bring and are willing to support our journey and stop wasting time on the things, places, and people that are not adding value and support to our journey. Okay, because once you get into that space and you understand that your audience is not in there, or people in there have no idea how they can help you and they're not willing to help you, I need you to really think about how much time you're wasting. Okay, because what we're trying to do is catch up. We have, again, been in service for a very long time. And this is where we are trying to really get the momentum going, taking charge of our personal brand and using that as the front tool, all right, for us to make things happen. The next tip that I'm going to give y'all this morning, because I'm full of tips this morning, all right? I'm just saying, I'm sharing, all right? And so I hope that you're picking up what I'm laying down. We got to create a brand that's based on authenticity and not on imitation. I think I've talked about this a couple of times before, but many veterans, including myself, and this is how I started out with, I was kind of thinking, all right, like, how can I be my most authentic self with my brand? Now, I was creating my brand prior to retiring from the Air Force. Many of you know that Slay just didn't just pop up yesterday. Okay, it's been growing and it's evolved over some time. But when we're trying to play this catch-up game because everyone else has been in the and doing it for a minute, we have sometimes have this feeling that we have to adopt the ways of the civilians on how they do business. Okay? And I'm not doing that. I feel like there's a lot of copycats, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing. And how do you differentiate yourself from the pack? You have to be able to rely on your authenticity. All right. Your strength lies in your authenticity. It's your leadership style. All right. Our, again, our strategic thinking and how we have the ability to overcome obstacles that make us different. And that's what the world needs to see. Okay, that's what the world needs to see right now. They need to see different. All right, we're tired for the whole old rhetorics of what has happened and what has always been. Okay, and so the world needs to see that we have unique abilities and capabilities, and how do we leverage them? So don't try to fit in, okay, to the corporate world and however they have built that. All right. Because we need to be able to shape our personal brand by staying true to our unique strengths and our values. We are different. Okay. I realize that I do a lot of situational awareness things. Like so yesterday, y'all, I was at a networking event downtown DC. And, I'm driving around, kind of casing, seeing where the parking garages were. And, my GPS has had me rerouting all over the place down there because of the construction and, all the things down there. So, anyway, I'm driving around and I got my head on a swivel because there's people that are stepping out, there's lots of traffic and it's during rush hour. So I had to really get my bearings down. Okay. And that's what I was trying to, in my mind, sometimes, remember when we had to do like those GPS exercises where we had a compass. It wasn't the GPS telling us not, it was a compass that we had, and then we had to count the lines, and then we had to like find the longitudes and the latitudes to get to a certain location. Okay, listen, maybe I'm just like an old school military veteran or whatnot, but that's what we used to do. But the first thing we had to do was to figure out where we were at. And so that's what I started to do in the car. I was like, okay, Rochelle, all right, like you're here. All right, they're a couple blocks up. This is where you need to be. All right, where's the parking garages? Kind of figuring out which side roads that you need to get off on and then get to the parking garage. When you get to the parking garage, I'm making sure I understand what number I'm at. I take a picture. I don't know what y'all do, but I take a picture because I get lost in parking garages a lot. Well, I don't now, but I used to. So I take a picture. I take a picture of the elevator that I'm going into. I go up, figure out, what my bearings are, and I take a moment. And so those are the things that we're good at. All right. So those are some unique traits that we have. And if we know that stuff is happening, going on, all right, we typically, all right, can sense that. We have the intuition that something probably is going to go down and we need to get to a safe location. So we're thinking about what are the safe routes? What are the exit routes? These are all the things that we have can bring, all right, and we can understand, especially as entrepreneurs, all right. So please, all right, use your skills. We have so many. Think about what you're really great at, leverage those into your business, and we just need to define our personal brand and focus on what makes us us. So ask yourself, all right, on repeat if you need to, what are the qualities that made me a successful leader in the military, and how can I amplify those in my business brand? Okay, I'm giving you a tip right there. All right. So make sure, all right, that we're asking ourselves that question again. What are the qualities that made me a successful leader in the military, and how can I amplify those in my business brand? All right. So tip number 4, y'all, because I got 5 tips this morning, but tip number 4 is in the military, we learn how to solve problems creatively under high pressure. All right. We had to plan with precision and we had to inspire teams. All right. These are golden in business. All right. High pressure. I've been under high pressure for 2 years now, more so than I was when I was in the military because you kind of get comfortable in the uncomfortableness of being in the military. But when you're out in the civilian world, especially in business, there's a lot of high pressure conversations that you have, right? Like people are asking me, what do I do and how do I do it, and I have to adjust based on the audience that I am talking to. I have to make sure that I am not losing thoughts, and I am not stumbling through my words. I have to keep up, okay, if you will. And so we have to also be planning with precision. All right. I do a lot of planning. I have my schedule book here, y'all. And it's kind of similar to when I was in the military. But so this is a skill. This is definitely a skill. So, this week I put out on my post about all the things that are happening this week. And there's a lot of things happening. I know that the lighting is not, sometimes favorable, but you see all this writing in these notebooks, right? Well, this notebook is 30-minute increments. Okay, because that's how I roll. That's how I know I'm going to keep up. But I have a lot going on in this book. But I plan with precision. I make sure I have my business cards. I make sure I have my digital card that's, up and running. I look on my websites, making sure things are up to date. I had to look on to my LinkedIn, making sure that I'm updating that as well before I go into certain events. Because if people are scanning and they're looking, you want things that are representative of who you are in real time. So this is all planning. This is all preparation. This is why I say stay ready to be ready, okay? Because you never know what opportunity is going to be presented and you want to be ready. And inspiring teams. All right, now I don't have a team of people. I am one of one in my business. I do say we at Slate to Success because that is the future of Slate to Success. But I have to inspire myself. Okay. And how do I do that? By being inspired by others. All right. So look at who is moving and doing some things that you think that are absolutely incredible and look to see how you can be inspired by their achievements, their success, so you can find it in yourself. But this is all golden in business. And we have to build our personal brand by positioning ourselves as the problem solvers because when you're in business, you're solving a problem. Okay? When you get into business, that is the goal of what you got into business, right? Is to solve a problem. What I'm solving a problem, my biggest problem that I'm solving is in allowing women veterans to feel as if they can be and do, and it's not over. Okay. And if they want to pursue something that is much different outside of what they already know, all right, I help them to build a personal brand because I know the personal brand is what really can create the most powerful ways to get there. And so I know sometimes women veterans feel lost. I know sometimes women veterans don't feel like they are part of. I know that women veterans feel like they don't belong. Then they'll come. All right. People come to me all the time. I have several clients that I'm working with right now, and we are building their personal brand because they want more. All right. And they deserve more. Okay. So whether we're stepping into entrepreneurship or a corporate role, we got to show how our military background prepared us to tackle any challenge that comes our way. So think of some very specific examples from your military career where you demonstrated skills like critical thinking, innovation, or team leadership, and use those examples to showcase how you bring solutions to businesses. Okay. So the last tip before I sign off for today, all right, on the Rise and Slay morning show is to be bold, be visible, and be consistent. Okay. Be bold, be visible, and be consistent. Good morning, Lindsay. How's it going, my queen? Yes, queen, contact me. Look, whatever, however I can support you, I am here for you because I want to see you win, okay, and win big time. You already winning, but guess what? We can win more and more and more each day by helping one another out. So I look forward to our conversation. I'm so glad that you're here live on the show this morning. All right. So be bold, be visible, and be consistent. The biggest mistake many of us are making, okay, is being invisible after service. It's the biggest mistake. I have ran into many people and they're like, "Well, I can never do what you do." I'm like, Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. You may not be able to do it in the way that I'm doing it, but I'm going to need you to show up. Okay. It's time for you to show up and to show out because our personal brand can't thrive if no one knows we're here. Okay, it cannot thrive if no one knows that we're out here. So we got to be bold about who we are and what we've accomplished. All right, we got to share our journeys and speak about our experiences and get our message out there. And consistency is key. whether it's through social media, whether it's through speaking engagements or community involvement. Make sure your brand is always visible and it is everywhere. Again, I posted a couple of posts before because y'all, like, I'm out here. I really I see the growth of where my business was a couple of years ago and where I'm at right now. And it's because I've been very consistent. I show up. Okay. Even on the days where I don't feel like showing up, I'm showing up. All right. And I give. I give value. I give my time. I give my effort and I'm giving my energy. All right. And being bold and being visible and being consistent, these are skills. These are skills that anyone, all right, can improve on. So when we show up consistently, opportunities flow because you're on top of mind for a lot of different things. There are a lot, again, people are doing kind of the same things, maybe in the same lane, but what is the feeling? Okay. What is the experience? What is it that you are showing that is different, that unique value proposition that you have? So we have to be bold. Again, last night, I'll tell you about this bold experience that I had last night. Again, I was downtown DC and I went to this networking event. I thought it was a networking event for businesses. That's what I thought I saw on the advertisement. But when I get there, it's for businesses, not necessarily businesses, it was for professionals in the political arena. I am not a politician. I don't have any ties to any of the organizations out there. I didn't know anybody when I walked into this event. I went there by myself, right? And when I got in there, I was like, you know what? Even though I don't know anyone in here, I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna meet at least one person. I'm gonna be bold and just like introduce myself. So I went up to this young lady, and we were both kind of standing by ourselves. And she says, "Hi." She gave me her name and she started to tell me who she was. And I explained to her who I was, kind of what I did. And we exchanged information. And I was like, I'm so happy that we had this conversation because I didn't know if I would even be talking to anyone because this is not the spaces that I usually go into. And she said, "Oh, you know what, Queen? This is just, an open session." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I walked around and met like two, three other people. And then I decided, hey, I'm going to leave because this is not my crowd, if you will. So I stayed for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And what I could have went into was this was just what was I in here for? I know better. Like da 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 da. But then I said, you know what? That's a bold move, Queen. That's a bold move for you. Go in here by yourself, don't know anybody, and then get in there, and it's way different than what you thought it was going to be. And you held your own, and it's okay. It's okay. All right. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue to be bold. All right. And I'm going to continue to be visible. You will see me in pink all the time, anywhere that I'm on post or whatnot, because that is the color that I want you and my audience to be attached to. But we have to be showing up and being consistent. That means posting regularly on the platforms that you're using. I post regularly on LinkedIn because that's my platform of choice. I am offered to speak at veteran and business events a lot of times because I want to share my insights from my transition. All right. And the more that, we're seen, the more our personal brand will grow. I can guarantee you that. Okay. Um, yes, it was Leslie. Cause you know what? I didn't know anybody in there. And I, for a second, thought, you know what? It would took me a hard time to find a parking garage. And by the time I found the parking garage, I was like, I could just go back home. But then I decided, no, you already here. You drove this way. Your intentions was to go to the event. Go to the event, check it out, see what's going on. It's okay. All right. And then you can leave whenever you want to. And that's the beauty of all this. All right. Is to check out some things, find out if that's something that's what entrepreneurs do. We check to see if that is a community that we should, be involved and engaged with. And if it's not, then we just say, you know what? I'm out. I'm good. Okay. I saw I can get a better understanding now. And then I move on to the next. So I just want to share those powerful tips, okay? Because we went over five. And so I got my notes here, y'all. So this was all about catching up in business and using our secret weapon, all right? And which was our military experiences, which should be part of our personal brand, okay? So embrace our military experience as an asset and stop downplaying. That's by focusing on our transferable skills like our military career, our leadership, and decision making. Then we're going to leverage our network. That's number two. And yes, we have one because we built one while we were in service. So for me, in my mind, like I was saying before, go to the people that love you the most. All right. My military community still love me. I'm grateful for that. All right. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I have been given by being referred from some of my, you know, closest contacts that I have still that are in military service. This is by joining some veteran entrepreneur groups, attending military transition networking events, and so on. All right. Then, number three, create a brand based on authenticity and not imitation. Because even though we might want to fit in, all right, we did that when we were in military service. Okay, well, now we are doing it in our next chapter. Think about how you're going to show up and show up differently. All right. And do it that is most closest to your core. All right. And asking yourself questions like, what are the qualities that made me a successful leader in the military? And how can I amplify those in my business brand? Number four, all right, transform your military skills into business solutions. All right. So, how can you step out and show that your military background prepared you to tackle any challenge? That's not hard for us to do. All right. And then last but certainly not least, y'all. Okay. This is the one right here. Be bold, be visible, and be consistent. Whatever that looks like to you. Okay. Because most of us go into, like our shell, if you will, and we're like, oh, it's just gonna be invisible. We're just not gonna be out here, all right? We're gonna let everybody else do it. I am having so much fun. I am experiencing things I've never experienced before. I'm getting out of what I used to know and be because I've been leveraging my rebrand, okay, that I have created for myself. So understand this. If you are a woman veteran, I'm inviting you, okay? If you have transitioned or about to transition and you really want to know more about the introduction to personal branding, this is my next course. It is on October 23rd, 2024, this year, y'all, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is on Zoom. I've had several women already report back to me that this course, this workshop has been so valuable to them so that they can move forward and do what they've always dreamed to do. All right. Maybe an inkling of things based on having a personal brand, their own plan, their own strategy for the personal brand. So I invite you, all right, to come join us. You can find more information. Go to my website. Y'all know the website, www.slaytosuccess.com. All right. Or you can email me, or you can drop me like a LinkedIn message or a Facebook message, and I'll send you the information because I'm serious about what I'm doing. All right. And I know that I'm providing some serious impact. And the way that I'm moving, y'all want to get on board. Okay. So this has been the Rise and Slay Morning Show. So thank you so much, Leslie and Lindsay, for dropping in live, and for anyone else who comes back for the replay, or if you're just watching and you're just kind of like peeking in. All right. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And I help empower and advise women professionals, especially women veterans, to step up into their most authentic personal brand so they can gain lucrative opportunities. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. You're welcome. Absolutely, you're welcome. And thank you so much for your time, for being here with us. So keep on slaying, y'all. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Yes, I will be here next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or you can find me on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Slay to Success talk show, where I bring in a guest, and we're going to have a Slay Amazing guest this week. So don't miss out on that. And I will see you all very, very, very